Hey, it's me. And 213-713-8954 or 8954green at att.net. On the Twitter, Mr. Bob at BobBob8954. And here's the thing is that, as I drop my little papers here, here's the thing is that I just talked to a deputy from the U.S. Department of Justice, and he has no more empathy than a flea. I mean, I guess they get hundreds and hundreds of these calls every year, and people won't even give you the courtesy of a conversation. They won't even give you the courtesy of a conversation. He has no empathy to listen or to say, oh gosh, sir, no human kindness, no human empathy whatsoever. None. I'm an officer, I'm doing my job. Oh my God. And it's just this whole hysteria. It's even taken over. He assumed that he knew what I was going to say. And I said, well, it would sure be awesome if you guys could, do some sort of media campaign to publicize and to make this clear, what the situation really is, rather than letting, the mainstream media, and I don't agree with everything Trump says, but the fake news. This is definitely fake news as far as the million people in America who are required to register. It's fake news. It's absolutely, it makes no sense. They spread this manure around as though it's absolutely hysterical, hysterical, not hysterical as in funny, but creating hysteria by not sharing all the facts, not sharing all the information, just sharing a little bit. The story about the dentist and the doctor who are on the registry, and making it seem as though they should have, big, placards on their chest, before the people come in for their dental work or for their surgical work. Oh, I just want to let you know I'm on the, and it's just so maddening. It's maddening. And this guy, well, we're going to leave it here. And he just cut me off. Wouldn't even listen to my, you think of the people who went through, and this is not the same thing, but it is sort of the same thing. The people who went through Dachau in Germany, the Jews that were taken away. Just the fact that someone would just stop and just listen for a minute. Not for hours, but for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But over and over and over, repeatedly, priests and pastors and leaders and counselors, they abruptly cut you off. It's okay for me to live 365 days, 24 hours a day, for years and years and years with the horror, the fear, the nightmares, the being kicked out, the being kicked down. That's all okay. That's fine, And then they give me these idiotic recommendations. Well, in a few years, it's going to be changing. I would look into that. And you can, and they're all joyful about it. Just like, I've already got that. That's not an issue. I know that. I'm seeing if there's any way to get out early. Oh no, we're required. It's the penal, it's this. So aggravating. And I think that he realizes how painful it is. And as a human being who he doesn't have to do this registration, as a human being who doesn't have to do the registration, he wanted to save himself of the pain. Well, you're not heavy, you're my brother. Sharing the load, taking a little bit off. I can see now why it's so important to have empathy. I can see why it's so important now to listen, because when you're listening, you're able to share that love. You're able to have a little bit of that love. You can take the burden off of somebody. Maybe you can't solve their problem, but listening. There's a pastor who I love. There's several pastors that I really love, two of them in particular, Pastor Mark and Pastor Sam. I want to give you a shout out. These two pastors have been yeomen. They've been awesome. they have, they don't necessarily call me all the time. Pastor Sam is pretty good at calling me. Pastor Mark, he's pretty swamped, but they do talk to me, and they are willing to listen, and they do take the time out of their day to be present, and that's really good. I can think of pastors who haven't called, haven't written, haven't checked in. Pastor Clarence, another one. Pastor Clarence, another awesome pastor, a man of God. Who and then my brother Tim Pick. And if you're out there, Timmy, I love you, buddy. I mean, he got to where he was done. He was full up after the department, the government department kicked me out of my home. He was so done. He's like, we're just done. He couldn't take anymore. He was a strong man, but he was just like, I'm done. Because he's on retirement. He's living down at the beach. He's got his bike. He's got the beach and the sand and the spa, and had a great time. Why does he want to mess with me? So, I got kicked to the curb that way too. A lot of people want to kick you when you're down. And just like that fella on the side of the road. Look here, I got a ditch here on the side. Look, see this ditch here? Look at there, just a ditch. What if I saw some guy just laying in the ditch, and you had people walking along this road? There's a road here, and what if they're just walking along the road, and they looked over, and I ain't got time. I'm busy. I got a schedule. I don't want to have any lawsuits. Might be a lawsuit. I can't stop to help you. Might be a lawsuit. I can't have any lawsuits. So But guess what? The Good Samaritan stopped on the side of the road. And he picked the guy up, and he put him on his animal, and he tended to his wounds, and he took him to down the road here, and he took care of him. That was the Christian. That was the godly man. And he was the guy that's supposed to be the idiot, but apparently he was not an idiot. He was a good guy. He was a loving guy. So if you might even start asking people, hey, are you on the registry? I'm going to start asking people. I'm going to say, are you on the registry, by the way? And just kind of find out. I'm going to start asking people. I'm going to say, are you on the registry? Because you know what? There's 1 million people in America who are on the registry. If I'm off by a few dozen, I don't want you to yell at me. But literally, at this point, all the tapes I've heard from 2-3 years ago, there was like well over 700,000, and they just keep growing and growing and growing. People are just going out of their minds. And then the other people, nothing we can do, nothing we can do, nothing we can do. Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler. I mean, nothing we can do. Well, you're a human being. You could listen. You could listen, and you could show some compassion. You could take a wall out of your house and, do that. Well, let's talk later. Love you.